action step.
Change is won, it's not a given. If you will change, everything will change for you. Change is an action.
Welcome to More Than Motivation. Clint here at Change One. Today, I want to talk to you about a topic that encompasses our financial health. So I want to give you an example right off the bat. Imagine a tire, and our lives, we have a real tire here, then we have a figurative tire. It's our financial tire. And they are very similar. When you have a tire, if you're responsible, you check the pressure on it maybe every 3 months, maybe once a year. With our financial tire, how often do we check the pressure on our financial tire, right? Do we check it every 3 months, every year? Most of us don't ever check it. Now, a lot of people say, well, I have a budget in my head and I have some numbers that I kind of go by. That's not checking your financial tire. You know, you really have to get into the details to check your financial tire. And this is why. What happens is this. With a literal tire, you know, we check the pressure and after 3 months, oh, it's gone down a little bit. It needs a little bit of air. I check our financial tire. Oh, well, it needs a little bit more money. It just seems it's gone a little bit flat. So, you know, we put in a little bit of air, we work, we put in our paycheck, whatever, and we don't save this period, this 3 months. We don't do any savings because, well, we needed the money in our financial tire to keep things going, right? So now, a month later, we check again. Well, it's gone soft again. We've lost a little bit more in our financial tire. So what do? Well, of course, we can't save. We're running short here. It's happening faster and faster. And now we start checking. It happens every week. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, it goes soft every day. So what do? Well, we go get a can of Fix-A-Flat. You know what Fix-A-Flat is? It's a can, you put it on your stem, your valve stem for your tire, and it puts a liquid in there that helps find those little holes and seal them up. So what would be the equivalent in our financial tire? We use our credit cards, we get a personal loan, a home equity loan, we borrow money from friends and family. And what do? We pump it into our financial tire. Oh, everything's healthy again. Now I have some debt that I owe, but everything's healthy. It looks good, right? I can keep living my life the way I live it. But what happens a month later, or 2 months maybe if you're lucky? It goes flat again. I got to get another can of Fix-A-Flat. I got to borrow more money. How many times can we do this? How many times can you borrow money on your charge card from family and friends, take a personal loan, before all of a sudden you got to claim bankruptcy? And that's not where you want to be. You don't want to have to get a whole new financial tire at 40 years old, right? So this will help you get it under control. I call this the flat factor because just like a tire goes flat, your financial tire goes flat. That's why it's the flat factor. And what contributes to the flat factor? Where is that little bit of air leaking? And that's what I'm going to help you find. Oftentimes in our lives, that happens when we go to Starbucks and Tim Hortons every morning and buy a coffee. We don't think about it, right? It's only a couple bucks, and I'm going to show you why that's so important. And some of you may have kind of heard some of this concept before, but stay with me. It's going to make sense. So what happens is it could be the coffee, or perhaps at work you go out to lunch every day because you know your coworkers go out to lunch. You're not going to be the only person not going out to lunch. Or when you get home from work, you got to go out to dinner with your significant other, or maybe some friends, right? And you got to enjoy life a little bit, and maybe go to the movies or a show, musical or whatever it is once a week. But you know, on Sunday it's game day. You got to watch the game. You get some chicken wings and pizza and some beer with some friends. Order that out. So you know, you got to enjoy life. That's a lot of enjoyment, right? I say that if we look at all of that, we can get that a little bit more under control. And a great example is of somebody who didn't want to get that under control. There was this show, I watched this many years ago, and there was these 4 wealthy people. They were all worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and they were on TV, and they were explaining to the studio audience and to the television viewers how to get where you want to be financially. And they went over some principles about cutting out some of the things in the life that I just talked about. And this lady in the audience stands up and says, hey, you know, I want to be able to drink my coffee. And they're kind of looking at each other like, didn't we just go over why this is important? To you know, get these under control? And so the one guy says, decides I'll answer the question. He says, well, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And she's all, you know, ignorant basically, and says, well, I want my cake and I want to eat it too. And they're just like, well, I guess you won't have a good financial future then. See, look, some people get upset when you start talking about these things. Like, well, smoking's ruining your financial future. There's no reason to prove to me why it's not. You need to prove it to yourself. You need to get your financial player healthy. Those people on that stage were showing the audience the things they did to get successful. Look, if you got friends who say, well, wealthy people are greedy, that's how they got it, or they just got lucky. Do you want to listen to your friends who don't have good financial health, or do you want to listen to people who have great financial health? I'll tell you what, I will take my advice from the people with great financial health any day. And they're all saying that they got where they got by controlling their flat factor. Not because they were greedy. No, they got it because they worked hard and controlled their flat factor. And if you can learn to do that, you'll get there. Don't listen to people who aren't ever going to get there. Listen to people who are there and have been there and have taken the road. So, with this concept, I want to just go over a little bit more with you and why it's so important. Look, you might say, you know, I like going out to eat with my coworkers. I don't want to be the odd man out and stuff. Well, look, if you make the simple decision to not go out to eat once a week, what are you going to do? You're going to pack a lunch, and you're going to maybe go to a park and eat, right? So what do you do in that time? Since you're not talking and having conversation that's probably unproductive with your coworkers, you're now alone, thinking, maybe reading a book and expanding your mind. You're eating a healthier meal because you're not going out to eat. You're eating a healthy meal you packed at home, and you're saving money at the same time. One flat factor decision just changed 3 areas of your life. Amazing! Now let me explain to you the financial benefits of controlling your flat factor. Let's say, for example, that you find that your flat factor is $5 a day. That adds up to around roughly $1,850 a year. So we're going to round it up to $2,000. I want to keep the numbers simple so everybody can follow this. So let's say you make $40,000 a year. That's around the median income in the U.S., but let's just keep the number simple. So you make $40,000, you spend $2,000 a year on your flat factor. That's a full 5% of your income that you're spending on your flat factor after taxes. Now, almost any financial advisor will tell you that if you save 10% of your income, you'll have a healthy retirement. But you're already spending 5% right off the bat on the flat factor items. So how are you going to save 10% of your income? You say, but it's only a few dollars a day. I mean, I got to enjoy life. Well, let me tell you something. You can enjoy life right now today, or you can have all the things you want down the line. Pay for your kids' college if that's one of your goals. Have an early retirement. Have a vacation home. Take a vacation every year. But these things only come through controlling your flat factor today. So one of the things is I'm going to put an article on change1.us that gives you some of the numbers. And it's going to take the $5 a day, the actual amount, compounding interest every year that you would spend. And if you took that money and instead of spending it, you put it into an account that gave you 7 or 10%, depending on how well you invest it, and how much you'll have, and you'll realize that we're not talking about $5 a day. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. Or it could be as much as $1.8 million, depending on what return you get and how big your flat factor is. So we're talking about huge sums of money. Once you see those numbers, all of a sudden it's like, wow, you know, this isn't $5 a day. So go check out that article, because that's going to really help you get the point. And there's a simple way to track this for yourself. I want to leave you with this, and you should do this. Find out what your flat factor is. And for some of us, you know, we don't know what it is. We have a tough time seeing ourselves what our flat factor is, and we lie to ourselves, you know, like, I only spend a little bit on this or a little bit on that. So make a list of possible things and find out what you think the biggest is. Or you can track a few of them. You're going to take an envelope and you're going to write flat factor dash coffee, flat factor dash cigarettes, flat factor dash sweets. I mean, again, it could be different for every person. You could go to whatever, dance. Maybe you dance all the time, or maybe you go to, you know, music shows, concerts 3 nights a week, and they're $20 a pop. And again, I'm not saying to cut out things that are furthering your life. You have to figure that out for yourself. Every person's different, but I'm telling you, we all have flat factors. Even when you get them under control, you still have other ones that could be more under control. And, you know, people say, but I want to have my cake and eat it too. I want to enjoy life a little bit. I'm not saying you can't. There's a way that you can enjoy life a little bit. I'll tell you that in a second. First, let's get this down. So you got these envelopes, and every time you get something that falls in this category, get a receipt. Oh, I'm getting coffee. Can I get a receipt, please? Stick it in that envelope. At the end of 30 days, you're going to take that envelope, add it up, and then you can calculate that throughout the year and find out how much you're spending a year on that particular flat factor item. And then you can go on the internet, punch it into a compound interest calculator, and find out how much that costs you over 20 or 30 years. And when you see that's costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars, that might be enough to help you change your behavior a little bit. So one of the things is that you say, but how can I have my cake and eat it too? Well, it's simple. You don't need a coffee every morning. You don't appreciate a coffee every morning like you would if you had a coffee on Fridays to reward yourself. You go out to eat for lunch every day, but you don't appreciate it the way you would if you went out to lunch every other week, just once, because then it would be like, wow, this is a treat. I really enjoy this. I really look forward to that. Does that make sense? So you can have it you just nibble on it, right? You put the most of your cake, you put into the bank account. Most of your money, you put into your financial tire. And you just use a little bit to enjoy every now and then it's a treat. And that's how you can do it. You can still enjoy life within reason and still accomplish your financial goals at the same time. As you're tracking these different flat factor items, what you want to do is track them over 30 days. And sometimes we lie to ourselves, right? Like if you know you're tracking how often you go to Tim Hortons, you might say, well, I won't go to Tim Hortons this morning. Because you know you're getting a receipt, you don't want it to look bad. But you're only lying to yourself. Look, you're not selling me on how much you're spending, or your friends, or your family, or anybody else. It's only for your benefit. So be honest with yourself. If you're going to go to Tim Hortons, go to Tim Hortons. Be normal for a month. This is why I say that you should track it for a whole year. Now, we can't jump right into tracking all of our expenses. That's probably too much to chew. So start with one item, 1 month. Once you've done that, start with a few items over the course of a month. And once you see how you can do this, track everything you spend for a whole year. Then you'll really see how your financial tire looks. And that's how you're going to change one.
Positive change is the result of intentional action.